global news update on top Accolade News. The world doesn't slow down and neither do the headlines. Tonight we track justice chasing power, nations redrawing diplomatic lines, drones grounding airports, and football glory rewriting history. There's a snapshot of how power, people, and persistence collide. The headlines: Duterte charged with crimes against humanity by ICC. Brazil charges Eduardo Bolsonaro with coercion. China's Supreme Court cracks down on social insurance evasion. France officially recognizes Palestinian state at UN. From campaign promises to courtroom reckonings, the spotlight is on The Hague, where Rodrigo Duterte faces history's harshest judgment. 80-year-old former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has been charged by the International Criminal Court with crimes against humanity for thousands of extrajudicial killings during his war on drugs. Charges include 19 murders at Mayo, 14 high-value targets nationwide, and 45 killings or attempts during village operations as president. Prosecutors allege Duterte and co-perpetrators plan to neutralize suspected drug offenders, while Duterte defends the crackdown as fighting street crime. He is in ICC custody in The Hague, with his lawyer citing poor health. Critics claim the ICC case is politically charged, but it marks the first time an Asian former leader faces indictment by the court. No one is beyond justice. From Asia's courtroom battles in The Hague, we move to Latin America's power corridor, where the Bolsonaro name is once again in legal crosshairs. Brazil's chief prosecutors have charged Eduardo Bolsonaro, son of former President Jair Bolsonaro, with coercion for allegedly prioritizing personal and family interests over national interests, exposing Brazil to potential foreign sanctions. Eduardo, a congressman now residing in the US, called the charges bogus and claimed he was being politically persecuted. The announcement followed Jair Bolsonaro's conviction and a 27-year prison sentence for plotting a coup, which has sparked outrage, nationwide protests, and international tensions, including US sanctions targeting Brazilian officials. Critics warn that the Bolsonaro saga underscores the fragile line between power and accountability in Brazil, proving that political dynasties can no longer dodge the long reach of justice. As Brazil questions the accountability of its leaders, China is demanding accountability from its employers, this time with a social insurance evasion. China's top court has ruled that employer and worker workarounds to evade social insurance contributions are illegal, aiming to secure funding for the nation's trained pension system. Despite the ruling, many small and medium-sized businesses are offering contracts that avoid paying employer contributions, while compliance surveys show only 34% of firms fully meet social insurance rules. The move comes amid failing consumer confidence, weak wages, and rising business costs, leaving authorities to balance long-term welfare reforms against immediate risk to employment and company survival. The ruling highlighted precarious tightrope of reforms, ensuring pension without crushing the very businesses that pay them. Social security is only as strong as the economy that supports it. China's ruling was about safeguarding for the future of its citizens. France's move at the UN, meanwhile, is about securing the future of a nation still waiting for statehood. French President Emmanuel Macron announced at the UN General Assembly that France formally recognizes the state of Palestine, calling it a historic commitment to peace amid ongoing conflict in Gaza and Israeli settlement expansion in the West Bank. The move, applauded by the Palestinian delegates and world leaders, follows similar recognition by countries including the UK, Canada, Australia, and Portugal, though Germany, Italy, and Japan declined. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas called for an end to violence, while Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu opposed to the two-state solution and is expected to respond with potential unilateral actions. The recognition marks symbolic progress in decades-long stalled negotiations, But for Palestinians living under siege, it is more than a beacon of hope, than a change on the ground. In diplomacy, symbolism can light the way even when reality remains shadowed. You're watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. To simmering tension in East Africa, diplomacy shifted from declarations to peace to warnings of conflict over Taiwan's future. The foreign ministers of the United States, Japan, and South Korea issued a joint statement expressing concern over increasingly frequent destabilizing activities around Taiwan and condemning unlawful maritime claims in the South China Sea. While China was not mentioned by name, the statement comes amid rising tensions in the region, with China asserting territorial claims over Taiwan and much of the South China Sea. Taiwan welcomed the statement and pledged to cooperate with like-minded partners to ensure peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and Indo-Pacific. The ministers also reaffirmed their commitment to denuclearization of North Korea. The message reflects the precarious balance of power in East Asia, proving that diplomacy often walks the tightrope where words can deter war or ignite it. While diplomacy wavered over Taiwan, passengers in Copenhagen felt the immediate sting of insecurity. Flights halted, travel plans shattered, all by a few unseen machines. Flight at Copenhagen Airport resumed on Tuesday after 2 or 3 large unidentified drones forced outgoing flights to be grounded and others diverted overnight. Danish police said the drones were flown by a highly capable operator and may have traveled miles to reach the airport, though their identity remains unknown. Authorities did not shoot down the drones due to safety risk near passengers and fuel depot. The incident coincides with increased Russian drone and air incursion in northern Europe, heightening NATO security concerns. While investigators probe how the drone reached the airport, the episode underscores how modern air travels can be paralyzed by a single skilled operator. Even the most advanced airports remain vulnerable to unseen threats. To the fiery stage of late-night television, the battleground shifts, the time of a speech, satire, and the limits of comedy in a divided America. ABC has announced it will bring back Jimmy Kimmel live after suspending the show last week following the host's remark about the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Kimmel, who has hosted the show since 2003, faced backlash from right-wing figures, including President Donald Trump, while Democrat, free speech advocates, and over 430 entertainment figures defended him, calling the suspension a threat to free expression. The network said thoughtful discussions with Kimmel led to the decision to return the show on Tuesday. The episode highlighted the tension between political outrage and artistic freedom. In today's culture wars, comedy can be as combustible as it is essential. And finally in sports, Ousmane Dembele wins Ballon d'Or. Ousmane Dembele was named the world's best male footballer after inspiring PSG to their first Champions League title. 28-year-old Dembele became the 6th Frenchman to lift the prestigious trophy and thank PSG coach Luis Enrique, teammates, and his mother during an emotional ceremony in Paris. PSG dominated the night, also winning Team of the Season, Best Coach for Luis Enrique, and the Yashin Trophy for the goalkeeper. The evening celebrated individual brilliance rooted in teamwork, proving that even the brightest stars shine brightest when lifted by those around them. As the light dim on tonight's headlines, one truth stands tall. Whether in politics, courts, stadium, or skies, the fight for accountability and recognition never ends. Stay sharp, stay questioning, because the world keeps moving, and so must we. I am Ojorumi Okocha. Do have a wonderful day, and keep watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News.